Welcome to How to Write a Great Resume, presented by ACCES Employment. This short workshop reviews different types of resumes commonly used in Canada. It is beneficial, but not completely necessary, to already have a draft of a resume prepared. You should also have a general idea of the type of job you want to apply for and what employers you want to work for. In this workshop, you will learn about different types of resumes and their advantages and disadvantages, how to pick the best resume style to highlight your experience, how and where to include keywords, how to write STAAR accomplishment statements, master resumes and targeted resumes, and what you should avoid in your resume. Many people think of a resume as a summary of their education and work experience, but it is much more than this. It is a tool with which to market yourself to potential employers. It is perhaps the most important of all the tools for building your personal brand as you start your job search. It allows you to sell your skills, experiences, and accomplishments as they relate to the position you are looking for. Your resume is also the key to securing an interview or moving forward in the hiring process. Here are the main components of a resume that you should include. Contact information. The purpose is to provide a prospective employer with many different ways of getting in touch with you. Be sure to include current contact information and an email that is professional. Objective, keyword summary, headline. The purpose is to capture in a few words or phrases what makes you unique, hireable, and a good fit for this particular position. Be sure to include keywords from the job position in this statement. Experience summary, experience profile. The purpose is to briefly summarize your key professional experiences. Relevant work experience. Here, you should indicate previous work experience that is relevant to the position. The company, job title, dates of employment, and key responsibilities and accomplishments should be included here. Education, training. Include all relevant education and training that you have obtained. Professional certifications, licenses. Here, you should share any additional professional development that is relevant to the position. You can also indicate your commitment to ensuring that your skills are current. Other relevant skills and interests. Here, the purpose is to present a complete picture of your skills and interests and to show that you are a well-rounded individual with multiple interests. Here are a few things to remember when you are formatting your resume. You should use an easy-to-read font, at least 12 point, with clear bolded headings and sufficient white space. Ensure that your formatting is consistent throughout the whole document. Your resume should not be too long. 1 to 2 pages is a good guideline for length. Put your contact information at the top in 14-point font. Use headers to break out the sections of your resume, and use bullet points to list your responsibilities. There are 3 types of resumes to choose from when you are writing your resume: a chronological resume, a functional resume, and a combination style or hybrid resume. A chronological resume is a resume that highlights your work experience. Your work experience is listed in reverse chronological order with your most recent job first. There are both advantages and disadvantages to this resume style. Some of the advantages of a chronological style resume is that it emphasizes work experience, emphasizes job titles, emphasizes your employers, reflects a steady work history, is generally easy to follow, and is widely used and understood. Here are some disadvantages of the chronological style resume. It will reveal any gaps in your work history. It reveals any lack of experience that you may have. It is not a good format if you are changing careers or fields. And it reveals if you have done the same job for a long time. Here is an example of a chronological resume. Note that the work experience component is placed near the top of the resume. Also note how the work experience is listed in reverse chronological order. The second type of resume is a functional resume. This type of resume highlights your skills and accomplishments rather than your work history. It lists what you are good at and what you have accomplished at the beginning of the resume. This is therefore what the employer notices first. The resume just briefly summarizes work experience at the end of the resume, so it takes the emphasis off this component. There are both advantages and disadvantages to this resume style. Here are some of the advantages of a functional resume. The resume focuses on related skills, achievements, and abilities. The resume is a good format if you are a new graduate, if you have a gap in employment, or are changing careers. It can be easily tailored to a specific job, and relevant information can be highlighted easily. Here are a few disadvantages of a functional resume. Employers may require a specific work history, so it may not provide the employer with sufficient information. It can be difficult to follow, and you may have to address questions about employment gaps. Here is an example of a functional resume. Note that the accomplishments component is placed near the top of the resume. Also note how the work experience appears very briefly at the end of the resume. The third main type of resume is a combination resume. This is also called a hybrid resume. As the name would suggest, this type of resume combines features from both a chronological resume and a functional resume. It lists your jobs or work experience in chronological order. Then, within each job, it highlights responsibilities and accomplishments. There are both advantages and disadvantages to this resume style. Here are some advantages to the combination resume. It emphasizes steady employment along with skills and accomplishments. It can be tailored to a specific job, and it is easy to follow and understand. Here is a disadvantage to the combination resume. It may require more than 2 pages because it includes quite a bit of detailed information. This means that employers may not read the entire resume unless they are very interested in the candidate. Here is an example of a combination resume. Notice that it is approaching the 2-page length and may require additional pages to cover off more extensive experience or skills. The 3 main types of resumes, chronological, functional, and combination style, can be used strategically to de-emphasize information in your resume if there are certain aspects of your career that a potential employer might perceive as a weakness. The main weaknesses that employers look to identify in a resume, depending on the requirements of the position, are if you have any time gaps in your work experience, if you are an older, experienced worker, if you are a younger, inexperienced worker, or if you lack of formal qualifications. If you have time gaps in your employment history, you may want to use a functional style resume to highlight your skills and de-emphasize chronology of your work experience. In the work experience section, you may want to only put the years for your jobs, not the year plus the month. If you do not have sufficient qualifications for the role, you may want to use a functional resume to highlight your school or education. You should list relevant courses in the education section, include all work experience, including volunteer and co-op positions, and also use the achievements section to highlight leadership. If you have changed jobs frequently or have an unrelated work history, you should use a functional resume to emphasize the skills that you have acquired. Indicate only the years for your work and not the months. You should also put the dates off to one side of your resume so that they are not highlighted. If you lack particular experience for a position, use a functional resume to highlight your skills and to de-emphasize the details of your work experience. In the education section, indicate that you have had your education assessed for Canadian equivalency if relevant. If you anticipate that your age may be an issue, you may want to use a combination style resume or a functional resume to show that your skills are current. You should not include work information from more than 15 years ago. Let's move on to look at 2 pieces of your resume that also allow you to clearly and concisely communicate your personal brand to an employer: keywords and accomplishment statements. We will start with keywords. Keywords are words from the job posting that indicate the characteristics, skills, and experience the employer is looking for. Keywords should be included in your resume to indicate that you have what the employer wants. They can also be included in your cover letter. If resumes are submitted electronically, They are often scanned for keywords, and then the selection of candidates to interview is based upon the presence of a significant number of keywords in the resume. In order to determine what keywords to include in your resume, you need to analyze the job posting to find the keywords the employer has used to describe both the position and the company. These are the words that are essential for the position or that describe how the company is run. The next piece of a resume that you need to be able to create is called an accomplishment statement. Accomplishment statements are clear and direct sentences that provide one of two types of information: information about your past responsibilities and duties, and information about what you have achieved for previous employers and what impact you had on their success. Both kinds of information are important. In a chronological resume, the accomplishment statements are used under each of your jobs to describe your responsibilities and accomplishments. In a functional resume, the accomplishment statements are used in your skills section. A good process for creating effective accomplishment statements is a process called STAAR, S-T-A-R, or Situation, Task, Action, Results. This is a four-step process. Step 1. Identify a situation, problem, or challenge that you addressed. Step 2. Identify the tasks you took ownership of. Step 3. Identify the actions you undertook to address it. And Step 4. Describe the result you achieved and the positive impact it had. Then, take the information from STAR and put it into an accomplishment statement using the formula action verb plus supporting descriptive example plus result. Here are some example accomplishment statements that follow this formula. Performed preventive maintenance scheduling on welding machines to minimize costly breakdowns. Processed 2,000 supplier invoices weekly in a timely manner to maximize available cash discounts. Drove Raymond reached forklift truck in a 120,000 square foot warehouse without any accidents over 10 years. Now that we have looked at the components of a resume, the types of resumes, and two smaller pieces of a resume, keywords and accomplishment statements, we are going to look at a master resume and a targeted resume. A master resume is the standard base version of your resume that you create first. It contains all of your work experience and all of your education and qualifications. Once you have your master resume, you can then create targeted resumes for each job that you apply to. A targeted resume is customized. It demonstrates that you are a good fit for that specific job. Focused on key qualifications. It highlights the specific skills, experience, qualifications you have that are a match with those indicated in the job posting. Researched. It incorporates information that shows you have researched the company and the job. It is important to create a targeted resume for each job that you apply to. Employers need to be able to see quickly that you are a good fit for the key skills, experience, and qualifications required for the specific job, type of work, and industry. There is a clear process for creating a targeted resume from your master resume. 1. Analyze the job posting that you are applying to. 2. Research the job company that the job is with. And 3. Adjust each section of your resume to highlight ways in which your background matches the job posting and the company. When you analyze the job posting, you want to identify the keywords. Remember, these are the key skills required for the job, the key past work experience the employer is looking for, and the key character or personality descriptors that describe the type of person the employer is looking for. List these keywords to use later in step 3 of the process. The next step is to research the company. Using the internet and any personal connections you might have, research the company history, the company mission and values, the company management, board of directors, president, CEO, CFO, CIO, the company products and services, the company clients and partners. As you complete your research, make notes on the key information that you find. Based upon the keywords from your job posting analysis and the information you found in your company research, adjust each section or component of your resume. 1. In your objective, use keywords from the job posting. 2. In your experience profile/summary, adjust your experience profile to highlight areas where your background closely matches the experience indicated in the job posting. 3. In your work experience section, adjust your work history to highlight the most relevant jobs and most relevant duties and responsibilities to those indicated in the job posting. Include statements about what you accomplished in previous jobs that is relevant to the potential employer. Include any internships and volunteer work that demonstrate that you have acquired practical knowledge about the Canadian work context. 4. In your education/training section, indicate the education and training you have that meets or exceeds the job requirements. Include Canadian equivalencies for your education. List professional certifications. Licenses include any professional certifications or licenses that are relevant to the position. If you have applied for a Canadian license or certification, indicate what your current status is. And 5. Under other relevant qualifications, highlight skills, training, languages, or anything else relevant to the position or company. Here are some final tips for mistakes to avoid with your resume, both with your master resume and your targeted resumes. Do not include your date of birth, your age, your marital status, the number of children you have, if any, a photograph, information about your appearance, such as your height, weight, and hair color, your gender, gender preference, and gender identity, and your religion. Do not use generic objective and profile statements. Target these to the position. Do not include unrelated work experience or education. Do not include your salary history. Don't forget to include education that is in progress if it is relevant to the position. Make sure that you don't have any spelling or grammar mistakes in your resume. Make sure that your contact information is complete and current. Do not use an email address that is unprofessional. And do not include your references in your resume. We hope that you have enjoyed How to Write a Great Resume. Here are your next steps. 1. Select a resume style and draft a master resume. 2. Research potential jobs and review their job descriptions. 3. Identify a list of keywords from the job postings and ensure that they appear in your resume. 4. Write your accomplishment statements. Be sure to create targeted statements based on the job posting. 5. Double-check the list of what you should avoid in your resume. For more information on job search support, please visit www.accessemployment.ca.